Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. Part 1: The Forgotten Gate of Wealth. There's a strange thing that happens to almost everyone trying to change their life. They read the books. They follow the financial advice. They work harder, sleep less, hustle more. But no matter how much effort they pour into chasing abundance, it somehow keeps slipping through the cracks. Have you ever felt that? You look around and wonder, I'm doing all the right things, why isn't my life changing? What if the answer isn't out there in some complex investment strategy or new productivity hack? What if it's right in front of you, literally? What if the real secret to wealth begins at your front gate? In both Feng Shui and Buddhist teachings, the entrance to your home is not just a doorway. It's a spiritual threshold. It's where the energy of the outer world meets the sanctuary of your inner world. It's the crossing point between karma and intention, between fate and free will. And most importantly, it's where wealth energy enters, or gets blocked without you realizing it. I want you to try something. Close your eyes and picture your front gate or front door. What do you see? A busy street beyond? A small patch of neglected soil? Maybe just concrete, plain and cold? Now, ask yourself, does this space feel like it's welcoming something in, or holding something back? Because in Feng Shui, your gate is more than architecture. It's a living portal. And how you treat that space says something powerful to the universe. I am ready to receive. Or, I am too busy to notice. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I visited a couple in Northern California. They had a beautiful house tucked into the hills, glass windows, high ceilings, modern design. But no matter what they did, money was tight. Their business wasn't growing. They felt stuck. They tried all the usual things, new marketing strategy, cutting expenses, even working weekends. Nothing helped. Then one day, the wife said something simple. I think our home feels blocked. I asked them to walk me through the entrance. There it was, a cluttered, narrow gate hidden behind overgrown bushes. The path was cracked, dim, forgotten. The first few steps into their home were, quite literally, neglected. No energy was flowing in. The gate, the place where fortune is meant to arrive, was closing itself off. This isn't superstition. It's symbolism, and symbols matter. In both Buddhist psychology and Feng Shui, space reflects mind. If your entrance is blocked, chances are your receiving energy is blocked too. And that's why today's video might just be the shift you've been waiting for. Because we're not just going to talk about wealth in terms of numbers. We're going to talk about trees. Yes, trees. Living, breathing energy conductors. You see, the right tree, planted in the right place, is more than decor. It's an energetic ally. It absorbs chaos. It attracts harmony. And in the language of Dharma, it becomes a karmic seed. A quiet declaration to the universe. Here, I choose abundance. Here, I make space for peace. Here, I open the gate. So in the next few parts of this journey, we'll explore which trees protect your household from misfortune, which ones silently call in prosperity like a magnet, and which ones mirror your deepest values, patience, clarity, growth. Because sometimes, one tree at your gate can shift the energy of your entire life. Stay with me. The transformation begins right where you stand. Part 2: Guardians of Energy, Trees that Shield and Protect. Before wealth can truly enter your life, something else must arrive first. Protection. Because what good is abundance if it leaks out as fast as it flows in? Too often, we chase after prosperity, but ignore the silent forces that are quietly draining our energy, stress, conflict, spiritual noise. That's why the very first step in creating a wealthy home is not calling in riches. It's shielding what you already have. And in both Feng Shui and Dharma, there are trees, living, breathing protectors, that stand like sentinels at the gate. These aren't just decorative plants. They are energy guardians. Trees with purpose. Trees that guard your peace. The dumb cane, a silent shield for the soul. Let's begin with one of the most overlooked yet powerful protectors, the dumb cane. Thick, lush, and quietly beautiful, the dumb cane is a plant of silence and strength. Its broad leaves don't just filter air, they filter energy. It absorbs chaos from the outside world before it reaches your front door. In many American homes, this plant is used purely for aesthetics. But in energy work, it holds a deeper role. It's a tree of emotional buffering. It calms tension, reduces conflict, and creates an invisible cushion between you and daily stress. I remember a couple in Texas who lived just a block away from a cemetery. They didn't think much of it, until their sleep began to suffer. Their child started having night terrors. They blamed stress, diet, even their mattress. Until one day, an elderly neighbor suggested planting 2 dumb canes at their front gate. They didn't expect much. But within weeks, their sleep deepened. Their home felt quieter, not just in sound, but in presence. That's when they realized, not all peace is psychological. Some of it is energetic. And that's what dumb cane does best. It creates a barrier that doesn't shout, but absorbs. The red leaf fig, the fire that guards. Now contrast that with the energy of the red leaf fig, a bolder, more assertive protector. Unlike the soft green of dumb cane, this tree bursts with red tinted leaves. In Feng Shui, red belongs to the fire element, a force that transforms, protects, and burns away negativity. Where dumb cane absorbs, the red leaf fig deflects. It's the tree of emotional armor, ideal for households exposed to gossip, criticism, or spiritual interference. I once met a restaurant owner in Chicago who was dealing with non-stop issues, strange customers, repeated staff conflicts, sudden drops in business. His entrance opened directly onto a busy, chaotic street. I suggested planting 2 red leaf figs in tall planters, one on each side of his door. Within a few months, the chaos began to calm. Even the staff noticed the shift. The energy feels thicker, one said, like noise can't penetrate anymore. That's the red leaf fig at work. It doesn't just sit there, it stands guard. Bougainvillea, beauty with boundaries. Next is a plant many Americans know for its vibrant flowers, bougainvillea. But what few realize is that beneath those pink and purple blossoms are sharp, defensive thorns, and that is its hidden power. In spiritual terms, bougainvillea is the tree of boundaried beauty. It welcomes light, but refuses darkness. It draws admiration, but blocks intrusion. There's a woman I met in Phoenix, a single mom raising 2 boys on her own. Her neighborhood was decent, but the energy around her home always felt uneasy. After planting a long trellis of bougainvillea along her fence line, she said something powerful. It's like my home finally has a spine. It's still beautiful, but it's no longer exposed. That's the gift of bougainvillea. It teaches that true warmth doesn't mean open vulnerability. It's possible to be welcoming and still protected. Orange jasmine, the gentle filter of spirit. And finally, the orange jasmine, a soft, fragrant tree that shields not with force, but with lightness. Its white blossoms emit a gentle scent that's long been associated with clarity, peace, and energetic renewal. Where other plants create boundaries, orange jasmine filters. For people who are highly sensitive, empaths, caregivers, spiritual seekers, this plant is ideal. It protects not by blocking, but by elevating the space. One school teacher I spoke to in Oregon had just moved into an older home that felt heavy. She planted orange jasmine by the entry walkway. A few weeks later, she told me, "It's the first time I've come home and felt like I could exhale. Some protection doesn't look like armor. It smells like trust." That's what orange jasmine brings, a subtle clearing of stagnant or heavy emotional energy. These are not just plants. They are protectors. Every one of these trees, dumb cane, red leaf fig, bougainvillea, orange jasmine, they serve a single sacred function. To protect the energy field of your home. They may not produce fruit. They may not be tall or majestic. But what they offer is priceless, a sense of safety, clarity, and resilience. When you place them near your gate, you're not just improving curb appeal. You're erecting a spiritual boundary. A signal to the universe that says, this home is guarded. This heart is watched over. This family is safe. And once your space is truly protected, only then is it ready to receive. Because wealth can only flow into a vessel that holds it. So now that your gate has guardians, it's time to explore the trees that do more than protect, they multiply. Stay with me. In the next part, we'll explore the trees of abundance, those that quietly attract wealth, invite harmony, and help your life flourish from the roots up. Before we move on, take a moment to breathe. If something in these teachings has already shifted your perspective, let it take root. And if you feel called, leave a comment below, just one sentence. My home deserves peace. I am ready to protect what matters. It may seem small, but that intention, it's a seed. And if this journey speaks to your spirit, consider subscribing to Wisdom of the Dharma. There's so much more to explore, together. Now, let's continue. Because once your home is protected, it's time to welcome abundance in. Part 3, Trees of Abundance, Channels for Wealth and Growth. Now that your home is protected. Now that the noise is quieted, and the energy feels stable. It's time to invite in something more, abundance. But before we talk about money, let's take a breath. Let's pause and ask, what does wealth really mean? To some, it's a number in a bank account. To others, it's time. It's health. It's waking up without worry. It's sitting at dinner with family, knowing you're safe. Wealth, when understood through the lens of Dharma, isn't something you chase. It's something you create the conditions for, like a farmer prepares the soil. And just as some trees protect, others are designed to open the flow. They don't guard the gate. They open it wide. Let's meet them. Bamboo, the patient power of sustainable growth. There's a quiet kind of abundance that doesn't arrive overnight. It comes slowly, beneath the surface, often invisible at first, like bamboo. In Feng Shui, bamboo represents flexibility, endurance, and strength. But more than that, it symbolizes growth that waits for the right time. I once met a retired firefighter in Oregon. After a long career marked by urgency and chaos, he moved to the mountains and planted a small grove of ornamental bamboo near his front porch. For over a year, nothing happened. The stalks were short. Still. Quiet. Then one spring morning, it shot up, more than 2 feet in a week. He laughed when he told me. It reminded me that just because you can't see the change, doesn't mean the roots aren't working. That's the wisdom of bamboo. It teaches us that real wealth, the kind that lasts, doesn't scream. It builds. It strengthens. And when it rises all at once. Planted at your entrance, bamboo doesn't just invite abundance. It reminds you to trust the process. Kumquat, joy that attracts fortune. If bamboo is the wisdom of patience, the kumquat is the joy of celebration. Its bright golden fruits resemble miniature coins, and in both Feng Shui and folk traditions, kumquats represent luck, prosperity, and good cheer. But here's the deeper truth. Wealth is not just what you have. It's how you feel about what you have. There's a small family-owned bakery I know in Savannah, Georgia. After years of struggling with foot traffic, the owner planted a kumquat tree in a planter just outside the shop. It wasn't part of some master plan. She just liked how cheerful it looked. Within months, regulars started to notice. Some even asked if they could pick the fruit. Others said the place just felt happier. And as her joy grew, so did her business. Kumquat reminds us that money flows best where there's lightness. When you cultivate joy, even in the small things, prosperity begins to circle back. Coconut, stability over speed. The dwarf coconut tree may not be flashy. But what it offers is rare, stability. Its trunk is firm yet flexible. Its leaves sway with the wind but never break. And its fruit, nourishing, enduring, rich, represents the kind of wealth that lasts across seasons. There's a couple in Florida I think about often. After a failed startup, they moved into a modest home near the coast. Instead of rushing back into business, they focused on rebuilding their rhythm. They planted dwarf coconut trees at their front gate, not for symbolism, but because a neighbor said they were low maintenance. But over time, those trees became their signal of renewal. The family began to recover. Slowly, calmly, one project at a time. And today, they credit their transformation not to any grand moment, but to creating a stable, rooted life. Wealth isn't always about acceleration. Sometimes, it's about having something that can weather the storm. That's what coconut brings. Dracena, growth that lifts from within. Now let's talk about inner wealth. Because abundance isn't just what enters your home, it's what grows inside of you. The fragrant Dracena, with its upward-reaching leaves and gentle fragrance, is a tree of spiritual and intellectual growth. It belongs near doorways where intention matters. Where purpose begins. One therapist I know in Seattle has one right outside her office. She calls it the reset switch. Clients pass it on the way in. They don't always notice it, but she says the space feels lighter, like something sacred is watching over their transformation. That's the energy of Dracena. It lifts your focus, clears the fog, reminds you that abundance is not just money, it's mental clarity, career direction, and spiritual alignment. For those building something, be it a practice, a mission, a vision, this is the tree to plant. Mangrove, roots that hold it all together. Finally, we arrive at the freshwater mangrove, the great anchor. If you've ever walked by one, you'll notice how its roots grab the earth like hands. It doesn't float. It grips. And that's what makes it powerful. For any dream to grow tall, it needs to be rooted. And in Feng Shui, mangroves represent foundation, a base so steady that storms pass without shaking it. A young couple I knew opened a tiny cafe in a transitional neighborhood of Baltimore. They didn't have capital, just courage. Outside their storefront, they planted a single mangrove sapling. They called it their commitment tree. Every day they watered it before unlocking the doors. Years later, the cafe is thriving. Not because of luck, but because they planted more than a tree. They planted a ritual. A reminder that deep roots build tall branches. Let the flow begin. Each of these trees, bamboo, kumquat, coconut, dracaena, mangrove, they don't just decorate a gate. They open it. They say to the universe, this home is ready, not just for money, but for meaning. Not just for income, but for insight. Not just for gain, but for groundedness. Wealth isn't luck. It's alignment. And when your entrance mirrors that alignment, the flow begins, naturally, steadily, without force. So the question is, which energy are you ready to invite in? Because now that the flow has started, we go deeper still. In the next part, we'll explore the Dharma hidden in each of these trees, how their shapes, their habits, their life cycles mirror your own spiritual journey. Stay with me. Part 4, Lessons from Nature, how each tree reflects a Dharma truth. What if every tree you plant outside your home is also planting something inside of you? In Feng Shui, we place trees to shift the energy of our space. But in the Dharma, we reflect on them to shift the energy of our spirit. Because nature isn't just beautiful, it's a teacher. And every leaf, every root, every branch holds a quiet truth that mirrors the path we're all walking. Let's revisit the trees we've explored, not just for what they do outside your gate, but for what they awaken inside your heart. Bamboo, the practice of patience and letting go. Bamboo doesn't rush. It doesn't bloom in spring and boast in summer. It waits. It listens. It grows in silence. Then, all at once, it rises. In Dharma, this is the spirit of right effort, samavayama. Not frantic striving. Not chasing results. But the slow, steady work of showing up, again and again, even when nothing seems to be happening. There is wisdom in that slowness. A bamboo grove doesn't compete. It just is, upright, resilient, empty on the inside yet unbreakable in the wind. The bamboo doesn't grow to impress. It grows because it's ready. When you plant bamboo, you're planting a reminder. True wealth takes time. And peace comes from releasing the need to rush. Kumquat, joy in the present moment. The kumquat tree glows with golden fruit, and at first glance, it seems like a symbol of material abundance. But look deeper, and you'll see something even more valuable. Joy. Its fruit is small, tart, unexpected. You don't eat it because you're starving. You eat it because it makes you smile. And that's the Dharma of mindfulness, samasati, finding delight in the ordinary. A well-tended kumquat at your gate is not a shout for riches. It's a whisper that says, wealth begins when you're grateful for what's already here. It's the color of sunlight in winter. The taste of joy in small things. Because abundance is not accumulation. It's the recognition of fullness, now. Coconut, the strength of balance. The coconut tree is flexible but firm, tall but grounded. It sways in storms, but it doesn't fall. This is the middle way, Majjhima Patipada, the path the Buddha walked between indulgence and denial. Between burnout and laziness. Between recklessness and control. The coconut doesn't hoard its energy, nor does it collapse at the first strong wind. It adapts. It bends. But it doesn't break. Its trunk is simple. Its fruit is nourishing. Its presence is calm. The strong are not always loud. Sometimes, they're just steady. Planting this tree is a vow to stay centered. To move with life, not against it. And to remember, true fortune is not fast, it's balanced. Dracaena, the rise of inner growth. With its slender stalk and upward-reaching leaves, the fragrant Dracaena grows like an idea, emerging from stillness, stretching quietly toward clarity. It doesn't bear fruit. It doesn't boast bright colors, but it lifts. This is the energy of right view, samadhi, clear perception, grounded in wisdom. Not just seeing what's happening, but seeing through it. Seeing what matters. One woman once told me that the Dracena near her entryway felt like a focus signal. Whenever she passed it, she'd remember her goals, not the ones written on whiteboards, but the ones written in her soul. Clarity isn't noise. It's stillness sharpened by truth. When you nurture this tree, you nurture your direction. Mangrove, rooting into the present. And then there's the freshwater mangrove, the tree that holds. Its roots don't stretch upward. They reach downward, firm, patient, grounding. This is the Dharma of right concentration, samma samadhi, the ability to anchor the mind in the present, no matter what pulls at it. Mangroves thrive where most trees fail, near water, in unpredictable terrain. And they don't just survive. They stabilize the ecosystem. Likewise, when we root ourselves fully in where we are, physically, emotionally, spiritually, we become the still point in the storm. You don't need to move fast. You need to grow deep. Planting a mangrove is a spiritual practice. It says, I am not escaping. I am committing. And from that commitment, everything else can rise. Every tree is a mirror. What began as Feng Shui becomes something more sacred, a mirror. Each tree you plant can reflect something back to you. Bamboo shows you patience. Kumquat reminds you to enjoy now. Coconut keeps you centered. Dracena lifts your focus. Mangrove deepens your presence. They don't speak, but they teach. And if you listen, they'll show you that the path to abundance was never outside the gate, it was always inside of you. So now, I invite you to pause. Look again at the trees you've chosen, or the ones you haven't yet. And ask, what part of me is ready to grow? Because planting a tree is more than landscaping. It's a spiritual commitment. And in the next, and final, part of this journey, we'll explore what it truly means to plant with intention, to shape not just your space, but your future karma. Stay close. We're almost home. Part 5. The seed you plant today is the karma of tomorrow. By now, you've walked through more than just a garden of trees. You've walked through a field of teachings. Each leaf has spoken. Each root has reminded you. Each tree has whispered something timeless. You don't have to force abundance. You only have to make space for it. That's the wisdom of the Dharma. That what we plant, through action, through thought, through intention, doesn't just shape the soil around us. It shapes the karma that unfolds through our lives. A single seed, planted today in silence, may blossom years from now when you least expect it. A tree outside your gate may become a quiet guardian of joy for your children. A small ritual, watering, pruning, caring, may be the very thing that realigns your path to purpose. You are already cultivating your fortune. You might have come to this video looking for a quick answer. What tree brings the most money? Where should I plant it to get rich? But maybe now, you see something deeper. Because Feng Shui, when practiced without spirit, becomes superstition. And Dharma, when practiced without presence, becomes theory. But when the two meet, with heart, with intention, they become a living art. One that doesn't just make homes beautiful. It makes lives meaningful. You're not just placing a tree. You're placing a message into the energetic fabric of your life. You're saying, I choose to protect what matters. I choose to grow what nourishes. I choose to align with what is true. And in that choice, fortune begins, not always in the way you expected, but always in the way you needed. Plant with intention. Prosper with peace. So now, the question is no longer which tree should I plant? It's, Which energy do I want to welcome into my home? Which truth do I want to live with every day I walk through that gate? And once you've felt that answer, go plant it. Not just with your hands, but with your heart. Because the tree you plant today is the karma your future self will sit beneath tomorrow. Join the garden of conscious living. If this message touched something in you, take a moment to leave a comment below. Not just any comment, share one sentence of your intention. It can be as simple as, I choose peace. I'm planning stability. I'm ready to grow. Let this be your vow. A seed of presence. And if you found this journey valuable, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma, and click the bell so we can walk together again in future teachings. This channel isn't just about information. It's about remembering. So thank you for planting your attention here. May your home grow more peaceful. May your gate become sacred. And may your life bloom, season by season, into everything your soul is quietly ready for. Until next time, stay rooted, stay open, and may your Dharma flow like water into all that you touch.